All right, you motherfuckers, strap in tight, because today we're going deep on Slayer's Rain in Blood.
Buckle up, folks.
Yeah, no bullshit. We're talking about the album that practically birthed death metal.
It's true. Rain in Blood is like a sonic nuke that blasted thrash metal into a whole new dimension of extreme.
And to get why this shit is so fucking legendary, we gotta rewind a bit.
Back to the origins of thrash.
Yeah, how the hell did this whole thing even start?
Well, it was like this unholy fusion, man. Picture the raw energy of punk, like hardcore punk.
Like the pissed off slam dancing energy.
Exactly. But then you mix it with the musical chops of metal.
So like giving that punk attitude a serious upgrade.
Yeah, you got breakneck speeds, those heavy riffs, and lyrics that weren't afraid to delve into some seriously dark shit.
Like societal taboos, violence, all that.
All of that and more. Bands like Metallica and Megadeth were already pushing the limits back then.
Yeah, but Slayer, they just went further, faster, and harder.
No doubt, Slayer just had this relentless drive, this commitment to speed and aggression that set them apart.
Like they weren't afraid to explore the darkest corners of, like, the human psyche, you know what I mean?
Exactly, and it wasn't just about being loud and fast. These guys were crazy talented musicians.
Yeah, I mean, Hanneman and King, their guitar work was insane.
Absolutely. They had this raw, untamed power, but also crazy technical skill.
And then you have Araya's vocals, man.
Oh, man.
That mix of, like, high-pitched screams and then these almost melodic parts, it's chilling.
It is. Araya had this unique ability to be both brutal and kind of subtle at the same time.
And we can't forget about Lombardo on drums.
Oh, hell no.
This motherfucker was a beast.
The total beast behind the kick.
Like he invented blast beats or something.
Practically. His double bass drumming was so fast and precise, it was like a machine gun.
It's insane. And
Yeah.
even like legendary musicians like Gene Hoglan.
Oh, yeah, and
No,
Angela Gasso from Arch Enemy.
Yeah. They've said that Slayer's up there with the greats, like the Beatles and Kiss.
That's not craze.
Shit coming from them that says something.
It really does. It speaks to Slayer's influence, how they impacted generations of musicians.
But now let's get to the bloody heart of this deep dive. Rain in Blood.
This album is a straight-up sonic blitzkrieg, man.
Yeah, no prisoners, total war.
It's relentless, uncompromising, and just brutally beautiful in a way.
Fuck yeah, it's a masterpiece of pure extremity.
Yeah.
All right, let's rip into some tracks.
Let's do it.
First up, Angel of Death.
Oh, man. This is where things get real dark.
Yeah, infamous for a reason. Hanneman wrote this about Joseph Mengele.
The Angel of Death at Auschwitz.
Fucked up subject, right?
No doubt one of the most controversial songs in metal.
But I think Hanneman, he wasn't trying to glorify Mengele or the Nazis, was he?
I don't think so. I think it was more about exploring this, fascination with evil.
Trying to understand how someone could do that shit.
Yeah, trying to understand the darkest parts of human nature.
And the music just adds to that feeling of dread and horror.
Oh, yeah, it totally does.
That opening riff with those dive bombs and Araya's scream, it's brutal.
It's like getting punched in the gut, sonically.
Yeah, it throws you right into the darkness, no messing around.
Straight into the abyss.
All right, up next, Piece by Piece.
This one is like peering into the mind of a serial killer.
Yeah, like way before Hannibal Lecter became a thing.
It's true. This song captures that primal fear, that fascination with the dark side of humanity.
The lyrics are just chillin'.
They really are. They paint this picture of someone so detached, so devoid of empathy.
Like they enjoy inflicting pain.
Yeah, it's a truly disturbing look into human depravity.
Like reading a diary written by a monster.
Chilling, man, chilling.
Now, Jesus saves.
This is Slayer giving the middle finger to organized religion.
Yeah, this song was controversial as hell, especially back in the 80s.
Big time, especially with all those televangelist scandals happening.
Yeah, hypocrisy was everywhere.
Exactly. So this song just resonated with a lot of metal fans who felt alienated by mainstream religion.
Like they were the outcasts, the ones who didn't fit in.
Absolutely. It was a battle cry for those who rejected the norms.
All right, Criminally Insane.
This one, oh man, this is where Lombardo shines.
That quiet intro before the song explodes is just genius.
Yeah, it shows his range, He could go from 0 to 100 in a second.
And when it hits hard.
It's like a sonic bomb going off in your ears.
All right, and then there's Raining Blood.
The ultimate apocalyptic anthem.
It's like the soundtrack to the end of the world.
The imagery is so vivid, and that main riff is haunting.
Oh man, that riff just gets stuck in your head.
It's simple but effective. Pure evil distilled into music.
And this song has been covered by everyone.
From Hatebreed to Sum 41, it's crazy.
It shows you how influential it is.
It transcends genres, it's just pure metal fury.
And lastly, Postmortem.
This one showcases Slayer's musical precision.
Tight, aggressive, just a whirlwind of riffs and drums.
Yeah, Hanneman's guitar work on this track is insane.
It's mind-blowing. How does he even do that?
It's a perfect example of their skill, blending brutality with technical mastery.
So we've talked about the songs, but now let's get into the nuts and bolts of how this motherfucker was made.
Yeah, the creation of this beast.
First off, Rick Rubin producing a thrash metal album. Talk about an unexpected pairing.
Right. I mean, this guy was known for hip-hop.
Yeah, Run DMC, Beastie Boys.
It was a wild move, but it worked.
He saw something special in Slayer, and he knew how to capture their raw energy.
He did, and that raw, unpolished sound you hear on Rain and Blood, that's Rubin's signature.
And we can't forget Andy Wallace, the engineer.
Yeah, this guy went on to mix Nevermind for Nirvana.
So he knew a thing or two about making records sound massive.
He gave Rain and Blood this clarity and punch, you know? Aggressive, but not muddy.
Yeah, perfect mix.
And of course, we have to mention that iconic album cover.
Oh man, that's some disturbing shit.
Larry Carroll created a visual nightmare that fits the music perfectly.
It's grotesque, blasphemous, everything you'd expect from Slayer.
And there are all these rumors about hidden figures and messages in the artwork.
Adds to the mystery, right?
Totally.
And what's cool is that the whole band was involved in the creative process.
They weren't just puppets. They had input and helped shape the final product.
It was a true collaboration.
Definitely. And that's probably why the album feels so cohesive and powerful.
Yeah, it's like all the pieces just fit perfectly. Now, speaking of unexpected pairings, we got to talk about Slayer signing with Def Jam.
Oh, yeah, that was a head-scratcher.
A thrash metal band on a hip-hop label. What the fuck?
It was a bold move, for sure, but I think Rubin knew what he was doing.
He saw an opportunity to break boundaries, to shake things up.
And it definitely raised some eyebrows.
But it also gave Slayer this outsider status.
This dangerous, unpredictable vibe.
It was like they were infiltrating the mainstream from the underground.
Exactly. And you know what? It worked.
It did. It created this buzz, this intrigue, and it probably exposed Slayer to a whole new audience.
People who might not have given thrash metal a chance otherwise.
So maybe, just maybe, this unholy alliance was the secret to Rain and Blood's success.
It's definitely possible, but even beyond the label, the music itself speaks volumes.
Oh yeah, the raw power, the aggression, the intensity, that would have made a statement regardless.
No doubt, this album was a force of nature.
It was destined to leave its mark on the world.
Absolutely.
So if you haven't experienced this sonic assault, strap yourself in and give Rain and Blood a spin.
Just be warned, it's a wild ride.
And that's our deep dive into Slayer's Rain and Blood for now.
Stay brutal out there, folks. And it wasn't just like a publicity stunt or anything, you know. Slayer didn't tone down their sound one bit.
Hell no, they went full throttle, no compromises.
Which makes it even more significant, right? This album didn't just influence death metal.
It influenced heavy music as a whole.
Yeah, it showed the world that you could be extreme, brutal, and still create something musically compelling.
Yeah, and lyrically too.
Absolutely. They weren't just screaming nonsense. There was depth and thought behind it.
It's like they took the rule book and said, fuck that, we're doing things our way.
And the crazy thing is, it resonated with people.
People were hungry for something raw and real. Not the same old bullshit.
And it wasn't just some underground thing either.
It broke through to a wider audience.
It did. Rain in Blood became a landmark, a turning point for heavy music.
Bands like Cannibal Corpse, Death,
Morbid Angel, all those pioneers.
they all point to Slayer and Rain and Blood as a huge influence.
Even bands outside of death metal like Sepultura, Pantera.
They all took inspiration from Slayer's intensity.
That relentless aggression, it was contagious.
It's like they threw a Molotov cocktail into the scene and watched it explode.
And the impact is still felt today.
Bands are still trying to capture that same raw energy, that uncompromising spirit.
Rain in Blood is timeless, man.
It's a classic.
It's an album that continues to inspire and provoke and, of course, headbanging.
Oh yeah, tons of headbanging.
And part of what makes it so enduring is the production.
Oh, the production is killer.
It still sounds so fresh, so powerful.
Even after all these years,
It's crazy.
you can hear every instrument, every scream, every blast beat.
It's a sonic assault in the best way possible.
It hits you right between the eyes.
And that's all thanks to Rubin's vision, Wallace's engineering skill.
It's captured the band's energy perfectly.
That live feeling, that raw power, it's all there.
And speaking of raw power, we got to talk about Hanneman's guitar work.
Oh man, this dude was a riff machine.
His riffs are just so heavy, so memorable.
They get stuck in your head.
Like that main riff on Raining Blood Simple, but so effective.
Pure evil in 3 notes.
Exactly. And then you have King's solos,
Chaotic, frenzied.
like a wild animal.
They add another layer of intensity, you know.
Oh, yeah. And we can't forget Araya's bass playing.
Often overlooked, but so crucial.
His bass lines aren't just following the guitars.
They're adding this, like, sonic earthquake beneath it all.
And then there's his vocals, man.
Oh, the vocals.
He's not just screaming.
He's using his voice as an instrument.
Creating all these different textures, emotions.
He can go from a guttural growl to a high-pitched scream like it's nothing.
The dude's a master.
Absolutely. Araya is a true vocal chameleon.
And when you combine all these elements, the riffs, the solos, the bass, the drums, the vocals,
You get this sonic explosion.
it's overwhelming in the best way possible.
It's no wonder Rain in Blood is considered one of the most important metal albums of all time.
It's a game changer.
It pushed the boundaries. It still inspires musicians today.
But it's not just about the music, right?
No, it's about the cultural impact, too.
Rain in Blood sparked controversy. It challenged norms.
It became a symbol of rebellion.
This was music for the outcasts, the misfits, the ones who didn't fit in.
It gave them a voice, a sense of community.
A way to express their anger, their frustration.
It was a rallying cry for a subculture that was often demonized and marginalized.
And it paved the way for other extreme metal bands to emerge.
It opened the floodgates, and the brutality just poured out.
The legacy of Rain in Blood is undeniable.
It's an album that changed the course of heavy music.
It still resonates with listeners today.
A masterpiece of aggression, precision, and artistic vision.
It's a reminder that music can be a powerful force.
It can challenge us, it can provoke us, and it can unite us.
And sometimes it can just fucking blow our minds.
Well said. Rain in Blood is proof that the most extreme forms of art can be the most impactful.
A testament to creative expression, even when it's raw and unsettling.
Even when it pushes the boundaries.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
What do you think?
I think Rain in Blood is a reminder that sometimes the most important art is the art that makes you uncomfortable.
The art that challenges your beliefs, your values, your perception of the world.
The art that makes you think, that makes you feel, that makes you question everything.
That's powerful stuff.
It is. So if you're looking for an album that will challenge you, that will push you to your limits, that will leave you breathless,
And maybe a little bit scared.
then you need to check out Rain in Blood.
Just be prepared for a sonic assault.
It's not for the faint of heart.
But if you're looking for an experience that will truly blow your mind,
This is it. So we've ripped apart Rain in Blood,
dissected it, analyzed it.
explored its darkest corners, felt its power.
It's a beast of an album.
But here's a question that's been bugging me.
Oh,
What if, and just hear me out,
okay, I'm listening.
what if Slayer had signed with a different label?
Instead of Def Jam.
Yeah, like a more traditional metal label.
Interesting thought.
Imagine them on Elektra Records.
If Metallica.
Yeah, back in the day.
That's a tough one.
Would Rain in Blood have had the same impact?
It's impossible to say for sure.
But it's fun to speculate.
Right.
Def Jam, with his hip-hop background.
It gave Slayer this outsider status.
Yeah, this dangerous, unpredictable vibe.
Like they were this forbidden fruit.
Exactly. Most people didn't even know this kind of music existed.
And Def Jam, they were like, yeah, let's put this out there.
They were infiltrating the mainstream from the underground.
It's a bold move.
And it created this buzz, this intrigue.
People were curious.
It probably helped them reach a wider audience, too.
For sure, people who might not have checked out thrash metal otherwise.
So maybe Rubin knew exactly what he was doing.
Maybe this unholy alliance was the key.
The secret ingredient to Rain in Blood's success.
It's definitely a possibility.
But regardless of the label, the music speaks for itself.
Oh, yeah, that raw power, the aggression, the intensity.
It would have made a statement no matter what.
Rain in Blood was a force of nature.
Destined to leave its mark.
Absolutely.
So if you haven't already, do yourself a favor.
Bless this album.
Yeah, strap yourself in and get ready for a wild ride.
It's not for the faint of heart.
But if you're a fan of heavy music, you need to experience this.
It's a game changer.
And that, my friends, is our deep dive into Slayer's Rain in Blood.
One of the most brutal and influential metal albums of all time.
Stay metal and keep it brutal out there.